if I'm a teacher, what are some questions going to be asking myself to help me create a stronger culture in my classroom?
Yeah, I think that's so fascinating, Dustin, because what you just shared is sort of the result that I see when I'm coaching or talking to teachers about this topic.
Yep.
I tend to ask, hey, how many of your students do you feel like belong? And I think what happens for teachers is similar to what you just walked through. Well, I try my absolute hardest to make them feel loved and that they can trust me. And so they're going to say, most of the time, teachers will say, yeah, I think my students feel like they belong. But what we actually are learning is that there can be a bit of a disconnect,
Yep.
that positive relationships and those sort of passing greeting conversations or knowing what a student loves to eat for lunch, all important things, but it doesn't always equate to a sense of belonging. So one of the best ways to do this is to ask and to try to measure. And that can happen in so many ways, but set out to measure, how does our school community feel about this topic? And when I say ask everyone, I mean everyone, our youngest of students, our oldest of students, our families, all of our staff members. To what degree do they feel like they belong to the school community? And there's some great measurement tools out there. But it's asking and checking in with them and finding those gaps or those blind spots that we don't always know about. And it can also be helpful to disaggregate the data a bit, right? So maybe we feel like, okay, our students feel a sense of belonging, but we start to learn maybe our younger students don't feel exactly that same sense of belonging. Or maybe there's families and caregivers. For example, this happened in one of the schools that I worked with. Most of their families felt a sense of belonging, but the parents and caregivers who worked at night, for example, didn't have the opportunity to attend the same amount of events or the same opportunities that other parents did. So all of that to say, those are just two examples, but all of that to say that when we measure and ask, we have a chance to check in if our assumptions are actually the reality for our stakeholders.